Hello, green class. Here I am in my home, and look who is living with me right now. It's our classroom pet, the fish. Nobody was able to be at school to feed the fish, so Tori and I decided it would be best to bring the fish to one of our homes. So here is our fish, and I would call it by its name, but this fish seems to have had many names over the years. And so I wanted to tell a little story about how we got this fish in the green classroom and a little bit about its name. And then I want to read one of my favorite stories that I always think about with this fish called A Fish Out of Water. So this fish was a tiny little fish, and it lived in the kindergarten room right next door to our classroom. And at the end of the school year, the kindergarten teachers were not able to bring it home to their house. Maybe they had a cat or something. I think one of them was moving. And so they asked if we wanted it for our classroom. So my co-teacher then, who was not Tori, it was somebody named Deb, took the fish and said, sure, I'll take it home. And she put it in her bathroom, and there it sat all summer, and she fed it, and she brought it back, and we put it into a tank. And it has been part of the green class ever since, for many years. And every summer when we don't have school, we ask some of the people who work at the church to feed the fish. And so one summer when we asked somebody to feed the fish, this fish got fed so often that it grew and grew and grew. And by the time we came back, it was 2 times the size. It had grown from a small fish to a very big fish. We were so surprised. And so we put the fish on a little bit of a diet. We gave him a little less food. We didn't want him to outgrow the tank. So we fed it just 3 or 4 times a week, sometimes 5 times a week. But we didn't need to feed it over the weekend, and we only tried to feed it once a day. So at the end of our story, we'll feed our fish, but that reminded me of this story, A Fish Out of Water. So I'm going to read this to you. It's by Helen Palmer, illustrated by P.D. Eastman. Now, this is a story I remember from when I was a little girl myself, and I remember it so well that I thought of it immediately when I came back to school after that summer, and that fish had grown so big. So here's a little boy, and he's at the pet store, and he says, "This little fish," I said to Mr. Carp, "I want him. I like him, and he likes me. I will call him Otto." Do you see the one he picked? "Very well," said Mr. Carp. "Now I will tell you how to feed him." Then Mr. Carp told me, "When you feed a fish, never feed him a lot. So much and no more, never more than a spot, or something may happen, you never know what." Do you see how he's holding his fingers in just that little pinch? And the little boy is doing the same thing, just a little bit. Then I took Otto home. I gave him some food. I did not give him much, just one little spot. But this did not make Otto happy. He wanted more food. He had to have more. Poor Otto. He just had to have more. Now that's what I think of when I feed this fish at my house. I notice that when I come over to the fish tank, the fish gets so excited and swims and swims and swims when it sees me pick up that food. So I always want to give him more treats during the day. So let's see what happens next. I knew Mr. Carp had told me, never feed him a lot, never more than a spot, or something may happen, you never know what. But I gave Otto all the food in the box. Uh-oh. Then something did happen. My little Otto began to grow. I saw him grow. I saw him grow, and soon he was too big for the little fish bowl. Ooh. The fish looks really surprised. Look at that expression. And the boy does too. There was just one thing to do. I put Otto in the flower bowl. "There, Otto," I said. "This will hold you, but no." See, there he is in the flower bowl. But no, the flower bowl did not hold him. Otto went right on growing. This was not funny. Not funny at all. His tail was growing right out of the top. I grabbed the flower bowl. I ran with it. Otto, I said, I know just where to put you, and then you will be all right. I put him in a big pot. But Otto was not all right. I saw him grow some more. Very soon he was too big for the pot. Look at that. I saw him. I put him in pot after pot. He was growing so fast. Poor Otto. My poor little fish. Oh, why did I feed him so much? Otto, I said, stop growing, please. But Otto could not stop growing. He was growing all the time. Very soon I ran out of pots. What is he going to do next? Otto had to have water. There was just one thing to do. I did it. I grabbed him. I grabbed him by the tail. I ran with him up to the tub. The tub is big. It can hold lots of water. At last, there, Otto, I said, this tub holds my mother. This tub holds my father. So it will hold you. Does it look like it's holding the fish? But the tub did not hold him at all. He went right on growing. Oh, Otto, I said, what can I do now? What could he do now? The water's going all over the bathtub. Then, crash! The door went down. Crash! Otto went down. I went down too. Oh, what a ride! Boom, 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 down the stairs. Down went the water into the cellar. The cellar's kind of like a basement. And down went Otto too. I had to do something fast. I grabbed the phone. I called a police officer. Help, help, I said. I fed my fish too much. Mr. Carp told me not to, but I did. What? Said the police officer. Mr. Carp told you not to, but you did? Too bad. I'll come over at once. The police officer came. My fish went that way. I said, he is down in the cellar. Looks like they're hurrying. The police officer ran down with me. What a fish, he said. He is much too big to keep in a cellar. We will have to get him out. We had to work and work to get Otto out. Poor Otto. Oh, why did I feed him too much? Mr. Carp told me something would happen, and it did. It did. I always like to look at the fish's eyes to see how it might be feeling. Look at him on this one. Poor Otto. Now we had Otto out of the cellar, but now Otto had no water. No water at all. A fish has to have water, I said to the police officer. We must take him to water. Get help. Call for help on the radio. The police officer called on the radio. He called for the firefighters. Help, help, he said. A boy has fed a fish too much. A boy has fed a fish too much. We will come at once. Whew, all of these helpers. The firefighters came. They all helped to get Otto up, but where can we take him? I asked. Uptown? Downtown? Look at how they helped him. Poor Otto looks a little bit scared. And I see his eyes. To the pool, yelled the firefighters. To the pool, I yelled. And please hurry. Do you think they used the siren? They did hurry. The fire truck with Otto came right up to the pool. The firefighters yelled, "Everyone get out of the pool! This fish is going in!" Oh. Look at that. The fish looks happy in that one. Did you see its face? Down into the pool went Otto, into the pool with a big, big splash. Now I was happy. Now at last my Otto had water, lots of water. This big pool was just the thing. This big pool would hold him. But Otto went right on growing, and no one wanted Otto in the pool. They did not like Otto in there at all. You take that fish out of here, they yelled. They wanted to swim. Let's see what happens next. There was just one thing to do. I did it. I ran to the phone. I called Mr. Carp. Please, please help me, I said. I fed Otto too much. Oh dear, said Mr. Carp, so you fed him too much. I knew you would. I always say don't, but you kids always do. Yes, I will come. I think sometimes the grown-ups do too. I've been feeding this fish a little bit too much. Then Mr. Carp came. He had a black box in his hand. He had a lot of things too. He looks ready. What are you going to do, Mr. Carp? I asked him, but Mr. Carp said nothing. He just went right up to the pool. He took his black box with him and all the other things too. Splash! Mr. Carp jumped in the pool. Look at how big that fish is. Splash! Now Otto went down too. All I could see was his tail. I could not see Mr. Carp at all. What was going on down there? What were they doing down there in the water? Now I could see nothing. Not Otto, not Mr. Carp, nothing at all. Would I see my Otto again? Would I see Mr. Carp again? Mr. Carp, I yelled. What are you doing? Are you all right? Then up jumped Mr. Carp. In his hand was a little fish bowl. In the bowl was my Otto. Mr. Carp had made him little again. Don't ask me how I did it, he said, but here is your fish. Oh. Let's see. And from now on, Mr. Carp said, please do not feed him too much, just so much and no more. There he is. So, now that is what I always do. Now I feed Otto so much and no more. Never more than a spot or something may happen. And now I know what. All right, so I thought we would feed our fish. And some of you might ask, what is the fish's name? Do you have a name for this fish? What we found is every time we try to name this fish, it's hard for everybody to agree. So we've had many names for this fish over the years. I think sometimes people called the fish Goldie or Flash. I know one person who calls the fish Bora, and another person, several people used to call the fish Miss Connie. That's my name. And sometimes when they would call the fish Miss Connie, they would be sitting by the fish tank and they would say, hi, Miss Connie. And I would be out in the classroom and I would turn to them to say hello. But they would be sitting at the fish tank looking at the fish. And they would peek over their shoulder to see if I looked and laugh and laugh. So let's give this fish a little food. Every day when I feed this fish, I've been marking on here. I learned that you can take a dry erase marker and you can draw right on here. I drew a little heart, maybe it's hard to see, but every day I mark when I fed him, so I know. It's been a lot of days so far. And I will do just a pinch and not more, and I'm gonna show this fish. Maybe the fish will see that I'm here and will get kind of excited. Here he comes. There you go, fish. Just a pinch and not a spot more. So thanks for reading that story with me called A Fish Out of Water, and let's hope that this fish doesn't grow too big while it's living with me. Bye-bye.